Welcome to Scarecrow Miniature Painting. I'm Steven, and we are going to continue work on our dwarf clerics. So I got this one right here that we have still unpainted, and then we have this one here who we began base coating. I always get out of the way so that we can focus more on it so you can see all the detail we did. In the last video we did the arms, we did the beard, we did the boots, we did the pants. And I think he's coming along exceptionally well. So we're going to do this in two different ways. So first and foremost, I want to make this part right here almost a steel blue. So we're going to do that at a later time. Right now we're going to focus on this patch right here on both sides and up a little bit. That's going to be yellow. Like I said, we're going to mix some orange, brown, and smoke to give it more of a reddish tint to his belt. And then we are going to move on to the his, what's the word I'm looking for? The wood grain on his arm, or on his hammer. And then we're going to move on to making sure that once we do that wood grain on the hammer, that we do the non-metallic metals. Now, non-metallic metals sound scary on paper. There is a lot of different ways you can do them. You can make them with gold, you can make them with silver. We're going to make this one look like steel, this one more of a blue-hued steel. So we're just going to add our paint there for our pants. We are going to be using desert yellow as a base coat. And the reason being is because we're going to add highlights to these. We're going to make sure that everything is base coated how we want it. And I'm going to take some of that. I'm going to go all the way around this. We're going to do two thin coats like we usually do. But I'm also going to get above that and hit right in that recess right there. So that's what we got going on right now. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to start at one end. We're going to pull it down. And with yellows, with how thin they are naturally, we may even have to do 3 coats. We're going to try to do it in 2. But that's what we got. So I'm trying to load my brush back up. We're going to start the second coat. Like so. I'm trying to look it over. I'm going to let it dry. And we are going to move on to the wood grain next. So the reason why I'm choosing to move on to the wood grain is because that belt is right on there. I don't want those to blend. Whereas the wood grain is on the other side. So let me grab our wood grain. What I love about the wood grain is that it's watered down just enough to where it's almost a wash in and of itself. So I'm just going to take my brush, and I'm not thinning this one down just because of, like I said, it already is almost a wash in and of itself. I'm just going to take my brush, and I'm going to go all the way around this. Now I could have made this part right here metal as well, but I'm choosing to give it a little bit more life by making that part wood, to where he's holding wood on the top, he's got wood on the bottom, and he's got metal inlays. I'm just going to go all the way across this. And for those of you that are waiting on the Lara Croft and Princess Leia commission we're going to be doing on the channel, I'm waiting on the miniature to be dropped off, and then once I have that, and we have our primer, I am going to be beginning those. But since both of those have not been primed, we want to prime them. Those ones we will be priming in a zenithal highlight, and I will show you how to achieve that with a rattle can. Because I know last time we did it with just base coating, and it's not that it turned out bad. I think it could have been better. But that's just me being an artist. We are our own worst critics. So with that, we have the wood grain. We have the start of the pants. We're going to do one more coat on both sides of that. Because like I said, this turned more so into a wash, so it didn't get everything that we wanted it to catch. And then once we are done here, we are going to move on to our other figure. This way we can start on him as well. So what I'm also going to do on here is he's got that beard. Bead. I'm going to use the same color we used on our pants. for that bead. Like so. Now it is close to the same color as our skin tone, but our skin tone we're going to lighten up. We're going to highlight the cheekbones. We're going to highlight the forehead. We're going to make sure that he looks more alive. So, while all of that is drying, I'm going to set him to the side. And we're going to work on the other one. Now we're going to start this around about the same way. We're going to do our skin tone first. So I'm just going to take some of the skin tone. Maneuver that around so we can get two nice coats. Now we're just going to do the same thing for the hands. In fact, we're not going to do the same thing for the hands. We're going to do something a little bit different for the hands. Wipe that off before it dries. So the hands look more, on this one, look more like he's wearing gloves. So we're actually going to give him a pair of green gloves. I feel that's going to match his green aesthetic on his other figure well, and we can do the tunic part in green as well. So now I want to do that hair of his. We're going to do the hair the same color. So we're going to start there. Now the effect we want to achieve on the hair is going to be somewhat of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Whitening of his hair, if that's the right word I'm looking for. pretty much what we want to see happen is that his hair is going to have, you're going to see his roots, but you're going to see a lot of white in his hair, his beard. I'm just doing this brow right now. Now we're going to do the beard. Like so. Now we're going to touch up that, we're going to touch up some of the areas that I think would do well with a second coat. Such as the beard, the mustache of the beard. The eyebrows. And there we have it. Quick touch up down here. Okay. So now that we got his face done, we're going to move on to the tunic and the gloves, which, like I said, we're going to do in green. So I'm just going to take some of that green, start with the hand. Now this figure, the insides are going to look messy just because of how that hand is designed. I mean, it's almost impossible to get into some of the recessed areas. With a finer brush, it is possible. However, this is the finest brush that I do have at my disposal currently. Just checking the time. And that's what we have so far. So now let's work on that tunic. Now, if you remember, I said I was going to make the other figures padded area right there. I was going to make that a steel blue. We are still going to do that. we're just going to do that with non-metallic metallics. So we're experimenting with that, as I've never done a blue-hued non-metallic metallic before. My goal for this episode is to at least get the main points painted, his tunic. We're going to try getting the pants. There are some areas of the pants that are going to be hard to get to. But definitely doing his tunic. We're going to do... we're going to try to do the boots. But this way I don't forget, we're at least going to run until the green is done with a second or third coat. And his build we're also going to do like we planned with the other figure, with the what's what I'm looking for? Smoke and orange brown. Just trying to make sure we get all the green on that bottom there. That is a difficult spot to get to. Now, you'll learn when you're painting your own figures that certain colors show up better on certain primers. Now, I don't mean primer brands, even though that can affect it as well. I specifically mean the color of the primer. For instance, black, gray, white. If you're using a green, you primarily want to make sure that the primer itself was black or a dark gray. And that's what we have so far. Now, I'm going to take him off. I'm going to touch up the green on our little guy over here because I realize that that is a little bit more vibrant than we got over here. I'm going to just keep going while we got momentum. This will also give us a chance to touch up anything on the green that we need to touch up, such Just right down here, there's some of the yellow that popped up into it. And then with that, we are officially done with this green. For now, anyway. Let's look over this figure one more time. So, let's see what we got going on here. We are going to try to do the pants. A lot of the area on the pants, it's going to be hard to get to. But while we have time, I want to do those boots first. So once again, we're doing dark stone. We're trying to keep this figure, unlike the other figures we've done where we've changed the color palette up and gone back and forth with making different figures look, or different figures from the same packaging look different. We are just going to keep it the same across the board as close as we can. So what you just saw me do was there was a little bit of gray that got onto the boot, from the boot onto the green. So I was just touching that up real quick. Because with that green being done, I don't want to have to do any existential touch-ups that may need to be done. What I mean by that is I consider the green done. We don't want to go back and touch up the green unless absolutely necessary. Right there we had a little bit of blend breakthrough. I'm not sure how that happened. That should have been dry over there. So I'm just doing a second coat. Onto the boots. Like so. Let me get out of the way so we can see it. So this is what we got so far. Now, just like last time, we're going to take that oak, or that orange red. We're going to turn that into our beard braids. Like so. And while we have it on the table, brush is starting to come apart. This is why you gotta clean your brushes specifically in specific ways. You'll have brush teardowns and everything like that, guys. You don't want your brush coming apart. While we have it on the palette, I'm going to just take that wood grain. I'm going to start applying that. to the handle of the hammer. Now, like I said, I absolutely love this wood grain. It's already thinned down quite a bit. And you really do not need a whole lot for some decent coverage. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just outlining around the hair so that we're not getting it in the hair. And a second coat. So as you can see, we did leave a little spot there by the hand. So we're going to use some non-metallic metallics there as well. There is a spot of green that I want to touch up on him. And that's what we have. So there he is. He is looking amazing. All we have left with him is his belt, his pants, and the non-metallic metallic. So we're going to do the pants right now while we have everything going. The boots are dry. Pants are as simple as going over these little recesses. In the front. Like so. So that's the nice thing about some miniatures is you can use other objects to cover up what you need to paint. So for instance, his cloak covered up a lot of the pants. So we don't need to paint that. Now, when we get to the arms, actually I think I'm going to do that now. It's just right here into here. I know this video is a little bit longer than we usually go, but I'm just trying to finish the last little bit of touch-ups with him. This way, when we get to the next episode of the series, we can go straight into the non-metallic metallics. And there we have it. So he kept his pants green. We added yellow to those sleeves to give it a nice touch. Now, his metal is going to be the chainmail, these little greaves, and the shoulder pauldrons, as well as the hammer. Whereas his metal is going to be the pommel, the bearing right there, the head of the hammer, his chest plate, his little guard right there, and each individual bracket. With that being said and done, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to us. And go onto our Facebook page and like us there. All of our links are in our channel description, so you can find us on not Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, Etsy, all of that. And then just please like and subscribe. That's really it. With that being said and done, I will see you all in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.